Hey everybody, Joe Iaquinto here. One of my bad cell phone videos. I haven't been on for a while, so I thought I would share one of my new purchases. This is a 1979 Gibson Ripper in ebony. It's got an ebony fretboard, black body. It's not bad. I mean, these things were all over the map weight-wise. This one's about, I think, 9 pounds, 10 ounces, something like that. But I got to tell you, it balances really well. Little history with me with the Ripper. Back in the 70s, 74, 75, whenever they came out, I was all about Peter Cetera. To me, he's still one of the greatest bass players to ever pick up the instrument. You listen to those records through the 70s and unbelievable stuff. So he is definitely my number one influence on the electric bass. And Peter was the literal poster boy for the Gibson Ripper. When the Gibson bass catalog came out for 74, 75, I can't quite remember, he was on the cover with a Gibson Ripper, a natural Gibson Ripper with a maple neck. So I wanted one so badly, but I didn't have one at the time, couldn't afford one. Pardon me, and I was playing Fenders. So about 1977, I was working on 48th Street at Manny's Music, and down the street was one of the used stores. They had a Sunburst Ripper with a ebony fingerboard. I didn't know at the time that was a rarity. It was a 3-tone Sunburst with an ebony fingerboard. So I saved up and I bought it. Fantastic bass. Really. I mean, it was. It was wonderful. It was kind of like the bass that Rick Danko played with the band. It was that model. And again, I didn't know that was a rarity. They made the maple with the natural with the maple. They made the black one. And I know that they made a tobacco Sunburst fretless. But this thing, happened to be in the store, used. So I bought it, played it, loved it. And then I traded it for a Gibson G3, which, if you're familiar with that, it's the black one. Well, they come in different colors, but it had the 3 single Strat looking pickups and the Flying V headstock. And at the time, I wanted that because I was doing a lot of soloing and crazy stuff. So that suited my style more than the Ripper. In hindsight, I did the worst thing I possibly could because I did not know that 3-tone Sunburst with the ebony was a rarity. Never been able to find another one since. I had a bunch of natural maple ones. Going forward, I moved to Los Angeles. I had a couple of black ones, a couple fretless Rippers. Out of maybe about 10 Rippers that I own, no kidding, like 2 were good. The rest were garbage. They either sounded puny, the necks warped into oblivion, or they didn't sound good. They were small sounding. So I gave it up for a long time. And in fact, I had conversations with Peter about the Ripper, and he was, they stink, they suck, whatever. And he's right, for the most part, they do. I got lucky with this one. I was really curious because I saw it advertised. A couple of mods. It has Seymour Duncan custom shop pickups. Okay, they resemble the original. And it's got a hip shot supertone bridge, which I'm not really partial to, but it's on most instruments, but on this, it works and you need it. Those old Gibson 2-3 point bridges, not happening. So it's got very low action. The neck is wonderful. I mean, it's slim. It's like almost jazz bass slim up here. So this is a great Ripper, I gotta tell you. I was fully prepared to get it, play it, hate it, and sell it or trade it for something else. But I got very lucky, like I said. Okay, sound-wise. So what the guy said, I'm looking now, I had to write this down. He also put in a, what is this called? Kelling Sound wiring harness. And it's got, instead of a 4-way, it's got an additional 5th position. Now I'll explain it. So the first one, both pickups, neck and bridge. Nice, right? Okay, that's the first position. The second position is the bridge, supposedly. Now that to me sounds like the bridge, maybe with that little bit of a choke on it. I don't know. I wouldn't use that unless I was able to punch it through a big amp, you know, with some low end boost. I mean, it's not a bad tone. A little too nasal for me. Third position, neck and bridge parallel. This one's nice. More jazz bass than the first position. So very nice, very clear, very usable. Right, and then here's that first position again. A little more meat to it. Okay, then you got the next position, which we want 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the neck and bridge in series out of phase. No, sorry. I guess if you're using effects, you know, or you have a head cold or something, that one works. Now this mystery fifth position, which is not outlined in numbers, this is the neck pickup only, and apparently you never had that option on the Ripper. I don't know why, but it's really cool. It's got a little bit more traditional Gibson sound. Really, you know, nice and cushiony. And now these are round-on strings that came with the bass. I'm gonna leave them on. I think they sound great. They feel great. I'm not a round-wound guy. I have flats on basically everything I own, pretty much, except for 1 or 2 basses. I use the Ernie Ball Cobalt flats, Slinkies, and I love them. So, but I'm going to leave these on here. And I think, again, the bridge lends itself to these. You know, I don't think you should have a modern sustainy bridge with flat wounds. Just my opinion. But, so, nice, right? Nice and dark. So, the controls on these things, you had volume, tone, and then this was like a mid-range. So if I turn the mids down on this, I like it. I mean, it sounds like, you know, like an EB0 or an EB3, but with clarity. So it's not a mudbucker, but it's got a little bit of that muddy undertone, you know, got some butt going on there. And pick mute. Not bad. Okay, so that is this Ripper, and I'm really loving it. Again, I use the first position mostly. Pick sounds great, you know. Or that third position. So those are both usable. I haven't recorded with it yet. That's something I'm looking forward to, because maybe those other pickup positions might be useful, you know. And again, with some effects. I think that's what would benefit those sounds, you know. Sometimes you don't want a very overbearing low end when you're doing effects. So anyway, I'll see where that goes. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. So if you're looking for Rippers, these things have shot up in price. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's crazy. It really, everything is shot up in price. But I never thought that they were worth, you know, as much as a lot of people are asking. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for this. It wasn't as much as everybody else is asking. I mean, I've seen these going for $3,000, $3,500, and not in anywhere near this condition, you know. I would never pay that much money for one of these basses. They're just, I don't know. It's just, I don't think, there's very few basses that are worth that unless you're talking about old Fenders. Let's not get into that. I know everybody has their favorites. But I got a very, very, very good deal on this. And again, it's, I wanted to get a Ripper that I could keep and be happy with, and I did. I'm really happy about that. So once again, here's everything wide open, volume, tone, mid-range thingy. First position, which is neck and bridge. Okay, now I'm going to turn that mid-range completely off. So it kind of tames the highs, and it just, I think it compresses. I'm not using a compressor, so that's why you're hearing that, hit the amp. Sorry, amp. I'm going to open the mid-range up a little bit. That's a nice sound. Come on. Okay, and that mid-range all the way up now, right? Something like that. Okay. Next position. Let's see if there's any use for this. Turn the mid-range off. Nah, sorry. That's the head cold sound. Okay. Third position, mid-range all the way up. Pick. Kind of rock and rolly, now I'm going to turn the mid-range off. Whoa! Not bad. That fourth position, the one that's really, how you doing? All the mid-range off. Not for me. Mid-range all the way up. Not bad. So I can see maybe with a phase shifter or a flanger, I don't know. I wouldn't do a gig with that. And then the neck, which is very cool again. Here's the neck with the mid-range and everything. Whoa. Sorry. Neck and the mid-range all the way up. Vit the pick. Ooh, right there. Mid-range all the way down. It's got a nice rumble. And then here's the mid-range half up. Mid-range up, everything up, fingers on the neck only position. I love it. I love the way that low end it blossoms. got a little bit of a Rickenbacker vibe too. I really would love to hear this with my flat wounds on it, so I'm just afraid to do that because, you know, it's the setup on this thing is perfect. And in all my years of experience with instruments, it's like, man, once you change strings on something and I don't know, maybe it's my Italian gypsy thing, but I just feel like it can really ruin the mojo of something if you change strings or you change anything on an instrument that feels great at the time. So I suppose I could take it to my repair guy and just say, here's the flats, make it feel like this, you know, or I'm going to make a phone call. So, but for now, I'm going to leave these on. But I would love to hear this sound. With the flats. That's it from here in, where am I? Brooklyn, Wisconsin. That's right, I moved. I'm not in Madison. I'm in Brooklyn, Wisconsin. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Now I live in Brooklyn, Wisconsin. So stay safe out there. Peace. It's a crazy world right now, but your world doesn't have to be crazy. So keep the faith. Peace, love, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.